We're going to be doing that in Canva, which is something I've already kind of introduced you to a little bit earlier in the class. It's just easy to kind of whip things together very quickly. So I uploaded all my assets into a folder on Canva, and I'm going to go ahead and dive right in, and we're going to create our business card. So Canva has some really great potential templates you can use. I am a fan of using templates, whatever it gives you a head start on your design or layout. I'm not afraid of taking a template and making it my own. So I'm going to scroll through these, and there's a lot of different ways to do an effective letterhead. It depends on how you're going to use the letterhead. There's a lot of ways freelancers use letterhead. Some of them put their proposals on them. Some of them write personal thank you letters to clients. You may think a letterhead might not be super important to you right now, but it's really nice to have one on hand, especially when you do legal stuff and tax stuff. Sometimes if you send an official letterhead to a business or to a government agency to do something, it just looks a lot better. And sometimes for certain official documents, they require you to send letters with some kind of official business letterhead. So that's important to do. Don't write these off. Same thing with business cards. Don't think they're too old school. Not everything has to be digital. And so let's go ahead and dive into here. There's a lot of different letterheads, like let's say this template. This looks like it's got all sorts of stuff on it, which might be interesting, but it depends on the length of your letter. And you never know how much letter you're going to need to write. So I like to focus more on space for the actual letter and a little bit less on all the graphics. I like to have my logo and my name and contact information, and you can have a little element in the background, but nothing maybe quite as big as this one. Maybe something more along the lines of this over here. So I'm going to scroll through here and find one that I think will work. I did find one, and I'm already starting to modify this a little bit. What I like to do is make sure I can put a long letter there. So if I can scroll this down and fit even more, that would be lovely, and it looks like I'll be able to. So I'm going to fill that in with my own contact information, and I'm just trying to think what would be a brand consistency, because we're really talking about branding here, a little bit less about design. How can we kind of brand this to make it look consistent? And we can do our little tagline. If we want to take our tagline from our business card that we just created, we could do the tagline somewhere in there, but the focus really is on your name and contact information and website. This is not always a marketing piece. This is sometimes more of an official business document piece. So we want to keep it very, very simple, very, very clean. So maybe less of that extra stuff that we put on the business card. So I'm going to continue to work on this layout a little bit the same way we did with the business card, just trying to find ways to incorporate that brand a little bit more in here. Remember the colors that we developed a little bit earlier in our branding standards manual? This is where those hex codes are really going to come in handy. If I want to bring that into any kind of online editing program, I can go ahead and pop or paste those hex codes in, and we can go ahead and bring in those exact colors, which is always very helpful to get the right grays, the right secondary colors. And this is where having multiple versions of your logo really comes in handy, because there might be a situation where a different color might work a little bit better than what we have as a default. And so you can always have those to test them out. I'm a big fan of watermarks. I think they look really good on letterheads and they don't interfere with the text too much. So I'm just going to be creating that right now. Of course, you want to make sure you reduce the transparency or the color to a very light gray. You don't want it to interfere with any text. It'll ruin the whole efficiency of the letterhead. So just kind of reduce it where you think would be a good level. You can always do a test print on your home printer or an office printer and find out what you think, what level would look good. And also, it doesn't have to be in the center. It could be on the left or right. Get the little pop of name there. That's entirely up to you. So there we go, a very, 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 very simple letterhead. Nothing that's going to win any design awards, but I think it is effective and definitely consistent with their brand. We have a finished logo, a branding manual, brand assets, a rough layout for an ad or business card and letterhead. We also have several ideas for other items we can create. We are ready for the next critical step in the going freelance process. This is probably one of the most important things we're going to cover, and that's to craft your portfolio to land clients.